One thing about me is I am a sour cream ass bitch. Like, if it can have sour cream on it, you better believe I am dolloping some Daisy.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. We've got some news. We've got some Use, one Use, in fact, but a lot of news. And we're going to get right to it. We are the Mattitude Eric. I'm Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello. You've mentioned before when I take a sip of water right before I talk, and this time I was cutting it too close, so I stopped.
I think you're addicted to the high of getting away with it now. I think yes. You're just like the relief you feel, the rush of just me. You're doing it again because I was setting you up to say something else.
You're talking.
How about you just drink all your water before
you talking? I'm sipping.
Man, I'm the talker. He's the sipper. It's my favorite DJ.
Let's make lots of money.
Fresh Prince album. Okay, Eric, let's start off with telling everyone why you became the target of hate.
I didn't put this here because of that.
No, I want to talk about it. I think it's important. I do think it's important because the internet is a cesspool and it's never going to be anything but, and nothing will ever get better. Things can only get worse. And so Eric and I aren't familiar with the video game Iron Lung. And I was, much to my surprise, I found out I was familiar with the YouTuber Markiplier. So the Iron Lung movie was directed by a famous YouTuber content creator named Markiplier for a $3 million budget and made a whopping, what did it make? Like 27 million or something like that so far?
Well, it opened like 18, 19 million, but then I will say one of the most impressive things to me is that he has a big enough audience that it's kept making money this week.
Yes, so it's around 28 million now, and it's a bona fide hit. It was made on a very small budget, and it's based on some game where a guy has to go around a moon of blood, whatever. I don't know, but that's the point is that Mr. Eric Goldman reviewed the movie for IGN. It wasn't its biggest fan, and now he is not the biggest. Now the fans of Markiplier are not Eric Goldman's biggest fans because they have come out of the woodwork. Now, are we saying they're coming out of the woodwork over on the Bad Place, over on the Twitter?
No,
or are they on the Blue Sky too?
They've actually more personally come for me, oddly, on Instagram.
Wonderful.
That's where I've gotten
totally normal behavior.
That's where I've gotten multiple messages that I have to look at because it's not coming through. It's requests.
I mean, you also don't have to look at them.
I got a random response to some random post of mine on Instagram saying, "Are you the one who reviewed Iron Lung for IGN?"
And then you write back, "No, that was your mom."
Yes. So oddly, Instagram's been the main place. Not to, obviously if you looked at the comments on the review, that's that whole other thing.
Eric Goldman, have you ever reached out to it? Now, okay, I'm going to couch this. Have you ever reached out to a stranger on the internet, a stranger, to say something negative to them?
To seek them out, to say,
I feel like you may have messaged like a certain actor or something like, "Hey, I loved you in this movie." A positive.
Yeah.
But have you ever sought out a stranger
to say, "Why didn't you like the thing I liked?"
These are people with broken brains. Broken.
Now, I really, truly didn't think that A, we'd lead with this news story, and B, although I knew we'd mention in passing the reaction to my review, I really put this here mostly as hey, this is a crazy story as far as this YouTuber self-financed a movie, got it wide distribution, which is really impressive, like thousands of theaters.
Well, to your point, he put up the money himself because he's a wildly successful YouTuber
because he has
a clothing line and
38 million followers. Again, I had never heard of him. I had nothing for or against him. Yeah. And I legitimately think, hey, good for him. Like, he loved a game so much and he was successful enough that he said, I'm going to make the movie of it. And he got it a mainstream release. And he has so many, fans that they turned out for this movie. That's all really impressive. And yes, is it weird that some of those fans, not only do I think, look, I thought the movie was very boring. I didn't think it was the worst movie I've ever seen. Just thought it was very boring and overly long. And it's funny because I'm like, look, do I think that if you looked at some of the people commenting, and if you look at the audience score, that a lot of it is just his mega fans saying, "Oh my God, this was the fucking best." And I'm like, do you really? But I don't care. Like, again, I'm not messaging them. But is it weird that, yes, he has the next level of fan who is so upset that anyone's not liking it that they're like, I have to message them.
As if you also have had any negative effect on the movie, right? Like,
no, yeah.
What have you done to the movie?
And was
did you take away $0.3 million? Like, what did you take away? Like,
and my review, would I ever have said, did I think, no, don't go to this. No one go to this. Like, it's like, I understand a review as a recommendation, but obviously this is a really specific recommendation or not. This is a specific case study, right? Of like someone who made this and his fan base turned out, but isn't, and I'm just really impressed. Again, I never heard of the dude, and that speaks to where we are these days.
Eric had said he texted this to me, and he's like, some YouTuber made a movie, and here's the thing. I knew a movie named Iron Lung was coming out, and I knew it was based on a video game. I didn't know that it was made by a YouTuber. But then when I looked it up, I said, oh, it's Markiplier, who I just learned about literally probably in November because my son had a friend stay over for a few days and they were watching Markiplier videos of like, he's did a few movies that are sort of like choose your own adventure style adventure, like things where like you have to go back if you make the wrong choice, a wrong turn or something. And I remember saying like Markiplier, and I was very dad about this. What kind of name is that for a young man? No, it was more like, no,
in my day.
No, I was just trying to call out the incurious nature of our youth, which is to say, I said, hey, Ash, is his name based on, is it like a play on the word multiplier? Or is it, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, you never looked into it. Like, you're a huge fan of his. You don't give a shit. Like, it's weird because you and I are this generation where it's like the people older than us don't know how to use the internet and the people younger than us don't know how to use the internet either. As far as like a search engine. So all I did was Google, why is he named Markiplier? And it said it's a play on the word multiplier. And I said, look, that's what it is. And he's like, okay. I'm like, man.
He's like, I guess this mystery's solved, Dad.
Yeah. It's like, I don't give a shit.
Look, again, like I legit, no bullshit. Like, yeah, I am not mad this movie made money. I'm actually impressed by it. Again, I never heard of the guy, which I think speaks to how siloed entertainment is these days and how these people with these massive followings, but it's like they don't hit the mainstream. They don't need to. It's not like it's hurt his success at all. It is interesting that, the main reason I put this here is because so many people, this movie making this amount of money was a huge surprise to people. Multiple days, by the way, while Send Help was #1 for the weekend and good for Send Help, there's been like 3 or 4 days where Iron Lung has been doing better. It's kind of been this funny back and forth through the week. And a lot of people are like, oh, wow, this really speaks to maybe like the future of independent cinema, all this. I'm like, well, this is a pretty specific situation where someone with this big a following, self-finance, literal passion project. So I don't know how many YouTubers would want to do this, but I almost think it'll probably be the opposite, which is studios now seeking out people with this kind of following. And that scares me because at least this guy made this thing from the heart, even though if I didn't think it was the most exciting thing.
It's like he still made it for $3 million. Yeah, so if people want to make movies for that small amount, of course, it's when they sing like, hey, now you direct a Marvel. I'm like, all right, well,
oh, no.
that has been the weird A24 pipeline.
Markiplier is going to do Shang-Chi too.
Yes. Well, you should also, I'm looking at the RT score, which is like at around a 50%. So, which is to say half the people put up negative reviews of this movie. So I'm assuming they're all getting targeted, like Variety and whatever.
Yes, I was one of the early, and by the way, speaking to the fact this movie is super under the radar, when I reviewed this movie for Rotten Tomatoes, it didn't have an official tomato meter score because it didn't have 10 reviews yet.
Right.
And then you could see a bunch of outlets went, oh, I guess we should review this thing because it was so off the radar until it made the money. Yeah.
Anyway, does he star in it too?
Yeah.
Because
wrote, directed, edited, stars in it.
Well, that's how you save money too. But also, because he does that in his online content. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's segue from this to another bad video game movie, related news, which is to say Paul W.S. Anderson, who did Event Horizon, but also the Resident Evil series, is directing, and I'm assuming you just wrote this with no link, House of the Dead, like a remake or a new adaptation of the video game franchise, right?
Yes.
Because when I was at Pacific Theaters, which we just talked about recently because of the whole, like, what trailer were people trying to see ahead of a movie. The Uwe Boll movie did come out and it was terrible. So like that was at the theater when I was at the theater.
This is the main reason I put this here, was because it amused me that House of the Dead had one of the most notoriously bad directors who also made many video game adaptations, Uwe Boll, do a version of it. And now it's going to like a very mediocre director. I'm like in every 20 years
more of an accredited, competent director, right?
Yeah, like, a guy who can point and shoot, and once in a while it's more entertaining than the others. And we're both fans of Event Horizon, of course. But you know, Paul W.S. Anderson made all the Resident Evil movies, but he also made I know he didn't direct every single one of them, but he directed most. And he also directed, of course, Mortal Kombat, which I have cheesy nostalgia love for. It's not a great movie. And he directed Monster Hunter a couple years ago. So he's done a bunch of video game movies.
Eric, I would like you to know that the original House of the Dead has a 3% on Rotten Tomato. Do you know the 2 outlets that gave it a positive review?
Oh, no. Okay, one is going to be IGN, right?
IGN and the LA Times. So there you go.
That's that. Okay, that surprise. I thought it was going to be like Collider or like
Spence gave it a positive review. I don't know how long has Collider been around, since 2003. Yeah, but so anyway, IGN. So I did look that up. But and there was a sequel that maybe have been direct to video. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it was a time when there were actually, I feel like there were a few video game adaptations that were just terrible that landed. Like Alone in the Dark was around this time too, with Christian Slater. Like there were just some real bad ones that opened at this time. So
was that another Uwe Boll?
No, maybe, but it was a video game that was, let's see.
No, I know that. It was Uwe. No, he did. That's the thing.
Oh, was it?
No, yeah. No, I thought it was because he had a bunch. He managed to get control of a bunch of games and ruin them and make terrible movies. So there you go. The one weirdest thing,
because he did Blood Rain also. Jesus Christ, yeah. Okay.
Obviously, he is a wife guy. You got to respect him. Puts Mila Jovovich in all his movies. But the start of this movie...
Oh, it's like Uwe Boll? Okay.
No. Paul W. Anderson. Sorry, I was moving around there. But the start of this movie is going to be Isabella Merced, and that's kind of random. It actually seems a little beneath her at this moment because she's been kind of doing a bunch of big shit. But I also understand that it's like she'll be the lead in this. And you know, maybe people are just like, oh, this can be like a thing for you, like your own thing, but we'll see. Anyway, mostly I put it there because I did think it's funny. The Uwe Boll, Paul W. Anderson, like every 20 years, make a House of the Dead movie, and we're going to get better and better directors.
We just brought up the Far Cry series that's coming. I did not realize that Uwe Boll did an actual German action adaptation of Far Cry.
There you go.
2008. Yeah.
Yeah, he was cranking them out.
Are we doing an Uwe Boll run on the podcast?
In the aughts, yeah, he was cranking them out.
Anyway, that's all we need to say about.
That's all we need to say
about all of this. Okay, let's segue over. Let's wrap things up with Apple news. So let's go right to more cool people have joined The Exorcist, Mike Flanagan's Exorcist movie. So we already knew about ScarJo. I don't remember if we mentioned the other people that have been announced, but like Chiwetel Ejiofor is also in it.
I don't know if I saw that. I think I might have missed that.
And Diane Lane is in it.
Oh, I didn't.
And now the latest who is joining, which gets us to mention these other two people, is Lawrence Fishburne. So he's also part of The Exorcist, which is, you know, it's interesting.
Will he play the titular role, Matt?
Will he play Regan, the girl? I feel like if normally we do announce, like, if it's a cool movie we're interested in, we'll add, you know, put a little note here about like who's joined the cast this week or something like that. Or man, back when Borderlands seemed like it might be an actual decent action film, I was announcing the new additions every week. That was years ago. But this is a Flanagan film. So that means that all these people are now technically part of the Flanagan, and he'll just keep working with them over and over. So when you join a Flanagan project, it's not just like joining a movie. It's like you are becoming part of his repertoire. So we'll see.
Oh yeah.
And these are big names too. So for
it's almost
for his repertoire, yeah.
Oddly,
because it's like, will they show up on the Dark Tower series? That's my point.
Right. Oddly,
is Diane Lane the gunslinger?
Doing any Flanagan project is like doing one MCU project. You can come back at any point.
And speaking of a shared universe, I I have not read his stuff, but I know that Brandon Sanderson has a ton of fans in the fantasy realm. His books are massively successful, which is why he has made a deal with Apple TV. And as part of basically his Cosmere verse, which is just a big way of saying that like he's got one universe and all of his books take place in it, but they can be separate stories and separate sagas and don't necessarily connect, except that they are part of the same universe. But a big partnership where he basically gets he can write, produce, consult, and have approvals over his adaptations. So it seems like a lot of creative control for him. And he's got 24 books, so there's a ton. And there's like this Mistborn series, which is going to be a movie, and a Stormlight Archive series, which will be an actual series that'll co-show run. So a lot of stuff is happening in the Sanderson verse. And Sanderson himself is in the process of writing the script for the Mistborn movie. This may mean something to some of our listeners. None of these names mean anything to me.
I guess I'm very amused to find out it didn't mean anything to you, because I was sure you putting it here was like, oh, you must be a big fan. Because I had a funny...
No, you know what? A couple people just were... So sometimes on the Discord, people will bring up stuff and they pop this news item in there, and some people were talking about it on the Discord. So I know we have listeners that were interested.
Okay.
So
I had a funny 30 seconds of when I saw you'd put this here of going, I have zero idea who this guy is. And then I went, wait a second. Is this who Ozzy was mentioning Emily is also a fan of? And to explain for Matt what the fuck I'm talking about now is we're about to go into Survivor 50. It's a big all-star season.
Jesus Christ. Everyone go see Send Help. That's all.
Fans are very excited. And so all the preseason interviews are coming out, the ones that were done right before they played last summer, and where they're all sizing each other up and how much do they think they could work with someone or not work with someone, and do they think they'll be an ally or an enemy. And there was an interview with one of the contestants, Ozzy, who said, I think Emily, these are all returning contestants, maybe Emily and I can work together. She's also a Brandon Sanderson fan. And again, I had no context for what he was talking about there, except some dork shit. But so it was very funny. This was literally like 2 days ago, Matt, that I was listening to these interviews. So I went from zero hearing about Brandon Sanderson to everything's coming up Sanderson.
Apparently, he also finished Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series.
Oh.
So who died in 2007?
He did what George R. Martin says no one will be allowed to do.
Well, I feel like Sanderson should be allowed to do it at this point. Like, also, who's gonna know? You know what I mean? Like, George R. Martin dies. Like, what power from beyond the grave? What is this estate power? Because that's bullshit. I think we should be able to get some legal loopholes and get someone to finish it. And that person should be Dean Koontz.
Dean Koontz still alive?
Who's alive? What's the Koontz situation?
I haven't been monitoring the Koontz situation.
What's the Belisario moment?
I was about to
say. Anyway, so all you Sanderheads out there, good news. Speaking of video games, which we have been doing quite a bit of,
Dean Koontz is alive. He's alive.
This is very exciting to me. As someone who has played Baldur's Gate 3, loved it. My daughter has played Baldur's Gate 3 now twice, because, there's different playthroughs, different things you can do, different characters, obviously. And just I would say, let's just say a month ago, had been gnawing on me for a while, which is I beat the game, but like in the end, when you're going through the end cutscenes and talking to all the different characters in your party and like what you've done throughout the whole game, like affects the ending and what they say and their fates and stuff like that. I pushed a button at a certain point and felt like I skipped over a cutscene. And I did. I skipped over the final party part of the game where you can go at the campsite and talk to everybody and meet up again. Like, it takes place months later and you're all meeting up again. And I skipped that. So I went back to my last save point, figured out all the game mechanics again. This is years later. And beat it again, just so that I was like right at the final fight. And like I beat it again just so that I could do that wrap up again. Now I have final closure. I say all this because Baldur's Gate 3 is getting a series, which Craig Mazin is attached to create, write, and executive produce and showrun. Wait, is he? Or am I misreading this? Yes.
Yeah.
I think
okay. Because I think a lot of people said, well, this basically confirms the Last of Us is probably ending with
season 3.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know the name, obviously he has been writing forever. He did a few comedies you probably didn't know he did, but also he gained a lot of prominence with the Chernobyl miniseries, but now, of course, with the Last of Us TV series, who he is. He and Neil Druckmann, who just left the series, were like co-creating it and running it. Oh, he was running it. But anyway, it's a lot of acclaim, and I'm very excited about this. And I should mention, though, if you have a lot of questions about this, how you're going to adapt Baldur's Gate 3, which is not the same story for everyone who plays it. It is an actual sequel to Baldur's Gate 3. So it takes place after the events of the game. And I assume it's not going to ever follow you, the player, because you created your own character, and that's impossible. So it's going to follow the people in your party or the other NPCs around and the people at Baldur's Gate dealing with the aftermath of basically the fucking mind flayers exploding all over their town and the Elder Brain dying and all that stuff. Anyway, so but I'm excited because and it's again one of those things where Craig Mazin is such a game nerd. He's a huge fan of the game, so you feel like he's going to do right by it. He's the anti-Uwe Boll when it comes to game adaptations.
Of course, Matt. Though, because a lot of people didn't like season 2 of Last of Us, now they're saying this is the worst news ever, and he'll ruin it. Because that's the pendulum.
How can he? Well, here's the thing:
pendulum has to swing.
How can he ruin it? He's not adapting it. So that's the whole point. It doesn't.
It doesn't matter. He'll ruin.
He's not doing anything from the game. Okay.
It doesn't matter. He'll ruin it. Woke. I don't know. I've never played the Baldur's Gate games. What fascinates me about them, because I'm always a little confused, as someone who's never really done anything except for watched animated series and movies, D&D, is that I know Baldur's Gate is like based in part of D&D stuff.
Yep. No, it's in the D&D world.
Yeah.
It's like the D&D. It's like Honor Amongst Thieves. It's exactly in the world.
So I'm assuming like Hasbro gets a piece of this series, Anyway.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Well, like even in like Honor Among Thieves, when Hugh Grant is like, oh, we've got people coming up from Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate to bet on these games.
I remember that. All
right. Well, it's a city. That. So there you go. Yeah. It's all on the Sword Coast. So yeah.
Not the Wizards Coast.
Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coast. But yeah, so that always fascinates me, like sort of the tree, the branches of D&D and where it goes and how it all works. And even sometimes I want to ponder the legality of it all, because there's the oh shit, why am I forgetting the hugily popular group who'd play D&D with Ashley Johnson and all those Critical Role. I one day I need to look this up. I'm sure the information is out there. The legality of the animated series they've done based on their campaigns. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, they're playing D&D and they're coming up with their own characters, but then they're making animated series that are clearly derived from D&D. So is Hasbro signing off on that? How does it all work? But I know that Baldur's Gate is just sort of an officially licensed thing that they do with it. Anyway, yeah. I've liked Craig Mazin stuff, and I've thought The Last of Us is great, and so I look forward to this.
Even though he ruined it, Eric?
Even though
he made the worst thing ever?
Yep, worst thing ever.
By adapting a game that people were 50-50 on it. Not
those people should be forced to watch only Uwe Boll.
That's true.
Video game
That's
movies.
True. Because Last of Us 2 is my favorite game of all time. And anyone who thinks differently is, I don't know, objectively wrong. So there you go. I'm very reasonable about this. So, and then we have the final news, which goes back to Apple. And Eric, tell us all about the Apple TV event you attended and all the new shows that we didn't know existed that now exist.
Yes.
All the new projects that they've just like, and this is happening.
It's just a weird time because, Matt and I used to attend the TCA press tour, Television Critics Association press tour, which was twice a year, January and July, and has Peak TV peaked. They had so much stuff that it got to like 2 full weeks because there were so many outlets and cables and streaming that were doing full days of stuff where they'd have these panels and these press conference Q&As all day with people on their show. And now that hasn't happened in a while because it's been really hard for TCA to book like enough of the streamers and the networks to like give them enough of a lineup to do a full press tour. But then it's funny because you're seeing things like this happen, which is Apple do a day clearly modeled after the TCA format.
Yes, it's all panels. Yeah,
It was all panels except more controlled because it was moderated discussions. The moderator was always someone from the show, often the EP, but sometimes like maybe a cast member who was like a minor cast member. And then the questions they'd take from us, which were media, but also these days, of course, influencers, we can submit on an iPad. It's Apple, guys. And they'd read some. So much more controlled, going to be less confrontational than some of the TCA panels can do. Mostly, of course, it was just the thing of Apple, the fact that their unlimited deep pockets, and the fact that
they're still doing the Foundation series, Eric. Yeah, again, they just signed on for like massive sci-fi fantasy stuff with Sanderson, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, does any streaming service lose more money than Apple? like the fact that like I had no idea Foundation was still going on, and that has to be like a huge production. So
yeah, and then you see this was like a day
when they get big stars.
I showed Trish because they gave us like the photo guides. I was like, look at who was here today, and it was like Kurt Russell, Jennifer Garner, Harrison Ford, Amy Adams, Elle Fanning, Michelle Pfeiffer, John Cena, Tatiana Maslany, Elizabeth Moss. It was just like just nonstop of like these Keanu Reeves, because it was a mixture of TV and film. They did a funny thing where the movies would get much shorter. They'd just come out, they'd stand and do a quick little intro, a little scripted banter, and leave, very like CinemaCon style, versus the sit downs for the TV shows.
Yeah, or like a Comic-Con thing.
Yeah. But there was definitely stuff that I was impressed by. It's funny when like I was texting Matt this. It's like, because there's so many of these shows and they have big stars, and you can like forget that these stars are doing these shows, and you don't really understand what the shows even are. So I knew Jennifer Garner did that show called The Last Thing He Told Me for Apple with, I never know how to say her name, but even though I think she's great, and Glory Rice from the Spider-Man movies and The Nice Guys.
Anjuri?
It might be something like that. It's Australian, but where they play mother and stepdaughter. And I knew it was like the dad disappears and it becomes about like this mom and stepdaughter kind of having to, bond. And I do know there was an element of what happened to the dad. But then they show a clip from season 2, and it's a fucking big jacked delivery man who's really not, and is there to attack Jennifer Garner, and Jennifer Garner pulling a knife out and stabbing him. And it was like this whole like, what the fuck is this show? Like, is this Alias? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
This show, and just not understanding. I found out a crazy.
And then Anjuri Rice explodes his head with her mind.
Pretty much.
What is happening?
Yes. Well, there's a show with Colin Farrell coming back for season 2, Sugar.
Yeah. Actually, a while ago, one of our write-ins recommended that. It's like a noir mystery PI show, right?
Well, that had a huge twist, and they talked about it, and I understand that.
Oh, no. Well, do I want to? I don't know. Am I going to watch Sugar?
Anyway, it had a huge twist that made me kind of like, what? And
Sugar in space?
And so there was, just all these different things that you're just like, oh, this is crazy. They're doing all this, intermixed with something like Shrinking, which has obviously become one of their more breakout beloved shows.
And Ted Lasso coming back. And
it's funny they didn't have Ted Lasso there. There must have just been a scheduling thing. But they also did bring Pluribus and this would happen at TCA too, a victory round, which is to say there's no new footage. There's nothing to tell about a release date. It's going to be years away.
Let's just bask in the glory that was season 1. Yeah. So,
and then, there was a lot of things that looked fun or interesting. There was also weird things like Matchbox, the movie with John Cena and Jessica Biel. And be like,
I was like, why is Cena there?
This could be great or bad because
is this going to be the F2 sequel they've been teasing?
It's so funny because it's like literally the only connection to Matchbox is like in the movie. It's about a group of friends who loved playing with Matchbox toys when they were kids, but then it's just like an espionage thriller. And then I think it's like a lot of like based on the trailer, which of course has to accentuate these scenes, is like, remember when we jump a Matchbox car? Now we're gonna do that for real. It's just like.
By the way, I realized I got ahead of myself. I meant to say an F1 sequel, and I just called it F2 because I have Fast and Furious on the brain.
Yes.
F1 sequel will not be called F2.
It will not be called F2 because they have to
They have to keep the licensing
Formula 1
for
Formula
F1.
1, yes.
I mean, F1 2 is pretty funny, but yeah, so.
F1 TOO would be pretty good. And then stuff like, I was like, Way of the Warrior Kid, where Chris Pratt is doing the thing we don't, it's like,
The thing where he just wants to be a serious Marine.
Yes.
Yes.
Or he's like a Navy SEAL and he's injured and goes to stay with his sister, Linda Cardellini. And then he teaches his nephew. They literally said it's like the modern day Karate Kid because his nephew's being bullied. So he's going to teach him the way of the warrior.
He's going to teach him how to murder someone with his thumb.
Yes. How to tear someone's throat out.
And he's like, I fuck guys like you in prison.
The final scene of Way of the Warrior Kid is just him actually decimating his classmates.
It's just from Roadhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say one I would put on your radar, guys, just because it's like, didn't know anything about it, but then it was instantly on my radar, was Widow's Bay, which stars Matthew Rhys. And it's a horror comedy, and they showed a very funny clip. I'm not going to try to repeat what was said, but it was a clip involving a debate about cannibalism in this town and how much cannibalism may or may not have happened. And the creator, Kate Dippold, I'm like, oh, I know her name. She's familiar. And I looked her up. Oh, she was a Parks and Rec writer, but she also did sketch comedy. She was on a MTV prank comedy show that I remembered, Boiling Points. But her big claim to fame in the meme world is she is the dressed as the Babadook at a party that was more of a
that surfaces every Halloween, and
wine dinner or whatever it is. Yes, that was her. Anyway, it looks like she's made a funny horror comedy starring Matthew Rhys.
What was the one with the elephant?
Oliphant and Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah.
What was that one?
That was a cool little teaser. You can watch it. Like Comic-Con, like TCA, some of these trailers were put out publicly, some were not. Lucky is the two of them based on a book playing father and daughter. And it's like, he's a con artist who taught her to also be a con artist. And then she tried to leave this crime world behind, but now it's caught up to her. It's a cool little 45-minute teaser with slick
45 second.
45 second. Yeah.
45 I would love a 45-minute teaser for Doomsday. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Eric, speaking of Doomsday, why aren't we getting a Spidey for Super Bowl? What's going on? What's going on? When are we going to see Spidey?
I mean, we're gonna see him soon. I understand.
We're gonna see him in July. I know that, but when are we gonna see the trailer?
But I understand. On a pure anticipation level, I want to see it too. But on the other level, it is funny.
Movies that aren't going to. I've seen the most mediocre movie in the world have 7 months of trailers before I opt not to see it.
I will say two things. I will say two. One, I'm very, very, very confident that come say June, Spider-Man opens July, we're not going to be missing that there's a Spider-Man movie coming out. Also, I think there's
Is that because that's when the trailer will drop?
Yes, there's a decent chance. Again, I try to look at schedules and dates. It's still a funny thing that they decided to skip the Super Bowl, but also, God, these Super Bowl ads are so much money now. I can't remember what it is now per ad, but it's insane. And do you need to do it? Because I think there's a chance we get the Spider-Man trailer a day or two after the Super Bowl, because GOAT opens in theaters next week, which is a Sony movie where they're pushing from the animators of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I think there's still a chance we just get it a couple days.
Yeah, but I don't want to see GOAT.
You don't know. I'm saying it'll just be online anyway. And
I know it'll be online. I want to see
They might think, okay, we could do the Super Bowl splashy thing and spend an extra, whatever, $8 million. I can't remember how much is Super Bowl spot. $8 million is some insane amount. And we're one of the Super Bowl ads that get listed in, the best ones of the day, hopefully get listed as one of the best Super Bowl ads. Or we wait a couple days and we're just the lone thing that it's like, oh my God, everyone's just talking about the Spider-Man trailer. And I can see that side of it too. So anyway,
give me something at the Super Bowl that says trailer in 2 days. How about that?
All right. That's fair. And then one last Apple thing I'll mention is Margot's Got Money Troubles. On one hand, there's already been a bunch of David E. Kelly shows starring giant stars that I've not seen.
Did I see Nicole Kidman in a wrestling ring?
Yep.
Okay.
She wasn't there.
Finally.
She wasn't there, but and this is Elle Fanning playing a pregnant girl with Margot's Got Money Troubles, so she doesn't have any money, so I think she becomes an OnlyFans, maybe she does fetish pregnancy videos or something, but it's a wacky comedy thing. And Michelle Pfeiffer is her mom, and Nick Offerman plays her dad, who he is a wrestler. He talked about how Chavo Guerrero trained him to do this show, and so I guess Nicole Kidman must come into it in some way.
Guerrero, trainer for the Stars for streaming series.
Yep, he did the Glow training. So anyway, obviously there is an innate interest there for Matt and I to see Offerman and Kidman finally in the squared circle.
Finally, tag team, intergender tag team. I hope they go up against Orange Cassidy and Timeless Tony Storm. Okay, let's we have one write-in and then maybe suggestions. But if you have write into weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. Rate us on Apple Podcasts 5 stars, please. You can also get us on Patreon. You can message us there or hit us up on our blue skies at the Matt Fowler, the Eric Goldman, and probably Eric Goldman over on the Bad Place because he's there sometimes. Yeah, that's it. So so the one we have is from Tim, and it says, "Hello, Enjoy Boys. Hopefully this gets to you in time for the post Drag Me to Hell free Dr. No News and News podcast." And it did, Tim. Great job on the Sam Raimi run. Thanks for reminding me I need to see more of his non-franchise movies. Excited for you guys to cover the first decade of the Bond series. I love the entire series, but it is funny how wildly those early films can swing between, wow, that's awesome, and wow, that did not age well. Have a good one, Tim. P.S. Something I forgot to include in my email about the MCU last month. How many of my celebrity crushes showed up in these MCU movies? Besides my existing crush on Liv Tyler, Phase 1 introduced me to new crushes, Haley Atwell and Kat Dennings. Yes, I have a type, says Tim. Yeah, Tim, well, we were aware of Kat Dennings, but Haley Atwell was the big discovery from the MCU, I think, the big breakout.
As non-Brits, yeah.
As non-Brits, but also even like Darcy went on to be in other Thor movies and then on the What Ifs in a very fun way.
And WandaVision.
But no one really broke out like the Agent Carter, like Peggy Carter, in I think a very unexpected way, to where she got to do a series and start being other movies that they wouldn't have considered her for, probably if she wasn't such a huge made a huge splash in Captain America: The First Avenger. Eric, do you have any recommendations?
I was thinking about this. I don't really, because I was looking at my letterbox, my diary, and I had a tough week.
Yeah, but you didn't like the Muppet. You didn't like the Muppet Show.
I love the Muppet Show.
I was gonna say, I was like, it doesn't have to be a movie, Also, but also you don't want to recommend Iron Lung for everybody.
No, but it's funny because I was I watched in a row this week Iron Lung, Dracula, Whistle, and The Strangers Chapter 3. All of which I was reviewing for different outlets. And, not the best run. I will recommend The Muppet Show, which is a delight. It's been this funny thing of Disney owning the Muppets now for 20 years plus, and a lot of people feeling oh, what are they doing with them? They've never had anything that stuck. They've had some moments. I mean, Muppets, the 2011 movie was a hit and it won an Oscar, but then the sequel wasn't a hit, even though it was good. And so, the fact that they're doing something that a lot of people have said, why don't you just do The Muppet Show again? And it's been so well received. It's only a one-off, but it's kind of being treated like a pilot. If this is success, they could do more. I really liked it. Sabrina Carpenter, who's one of those people who I'm only tangentially aware of her music, but I've come to really like her on her frequent SNL appearances. She's become one of those people that's clearly friends with the show, because she's hosted once, but she's popped in multiple times. They had her, they gave her a spotlight on the 50th anniversary. So her being a natural for this no longer surprised me, but she was a great fit for it. And really enjoyed it. And I think one of the most not divisive, one of the things that's toughest, which is the fact that Kermit's current voice doesn't sound like Kermit. I think you can roll with it in the context of watching the whole special versus when you see a clip and it throws you more. When you're actually just watching.
I think you can roll with it if you're a reasonable human being and not a weird, I don't know. I'm just saying
it throws you. I get it. It throws you.
I'm just saying if you're with, there's a certain, I don't know. People have such weird hard lines to think something is completely ruined because of one element these days that I think that you would have an easier time doing that than a lot of fans who draw these really clear lines in the sands for what is and isn't acceptable in their fandoms, in their favorite IPs.
But to the, I will say, I did see a fair amount of people saying what I'm saying, which is, once I was watching the special, I was okay with it, versus when they saw an early clip and they were freaking out about it. So if I can change, you can change, as Rocky Balboa once said. The Muppet Show is good.
I gave you cookie, give me cookie. Jake Johnson once said on New Girl. Okay. Nick. I was like, what's his character's name? Nick to Schmidt.
I saw Jake Johnson twice at the Apple presentation because he was busy Nick, busy Jake Johnson, and he had both a series with the one with Tatiana Maslany, and then he had a movie with Mary Steenburgen. So everything's coming up. Apple money.
Oh yeah, what was that one? The one with the Steenburgen is the tennis movie that has a funny name. The Dink.
It's a pickleball movie, though he plays.
Oh, it's a pickleball.
He plays an ex-tennis star, and then the Tatiana Maslany one, which is called.
Yeah, but what was the name? Did I hit on it?
The Dink. Yeah,
The Dink. Okay.
And then Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed, where Tatiana Maslany and him play divorced husband and wife, and she does like talks to like a cam boy. She goes on like an OnlyFans thing with a guy, young handsome guy who scams her out of money, and then it becomes like some sort of comedic heightened crime thing that as the situation escalates.
You gave me cookie, give you cookie. Did anyone mistake him for Old Nick, and then he had to sing Number of the Beast?
Yes, that exactly happened.
Good. I love these Apple events. All right. That is the news and news. Dr. No is coming out.
No other recommendation from you?
No, I haven't done shit.
Still go see Send Help, because I mean it's doing okay, but
more people go see Send Help. Go help out Send Help. And then also from something I'm going to watch that you already recommended, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is streaming. So I'm going to be like, yes, I will watch that. Anything else streaming? I feel like I wish Hamnet was streaming, but I don't think Hamnet is streaming until like way after the Oscars happen. So like for free, for subscription.
Right. Yeah. So If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is now on HBO Max, because again, A24 has got their big deal with HBO Max. Also hitting HBO Max, I see, is Schitt's Creek, which obviously got brought up a lot with the death of Catherine O'Hara, and a show I've never seen and I've wanted to.
Wait a minute. Eric Goldman.
Yeah.
Eric Henry Goldman.
Yeah.
Eric Henry Tiberius Goldman. Never seen Schitt's Creek.
Nope. Not a minute of it.
Interesting. Minute.
I've seen clips, so I guess I've seen a minute of it, but I've never actually watched an episode of the show.
I am excited for you.
Mm-hmm.
I am also going to say that it finds itself after, and this is something people hate to say, and people hate to say to show they're recommending. It finds itself after like 4 or 5 episodes, but then it becomes like, it's again, like you've seen Parks and Rec, you know what I mean? Like
it's The Office,
like,
sure.
Absolutely. And it will also, this is a good litmus test for anyone's Chris Elliott tolerance. Just so you know, like his style of character and comedy. I think you and I are fans of that, but I know some people that aren't. But anyway,
Chris Elliott's on Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Huh.
These are things you would know if you watch Schitt's Creek.
But I never see him like in the photos.
In a major role. Major lead role on the show is he's not one of the shit family, but he's very important. Okay, I'm excited for you because it's great. So start watching it right now, I guess. I mean, you literally didn't say that you were going to start watching. You just mentioned it was streaming.
No, I do want to start watching it. We'll see when that happens.
It's streaming, but I'll never see it. Anyway. Okay, until next time, everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.